Okay, before we get to the pictures, my name's Yujing. I had the pleasure of going to Taiwan this summer with the short-term mission team. I'd never been to Taiwan before. I've been to mainland China many times, but never to Taiwan. And it was really cool for me to get to know the country. And it was a short time, but there were a lot of different things about it. I think one of the first things I noticed was just everything was really cute. And there was a lot of great food, and everything was so clean. I remember Pastor Michael and Melky and I were walking down the street, and we heard, like, let me see here. You hear the sound? I'm like, it's the ice cream truck. Where's the ice cream truck? And this truck comes driving along, and Pastor Michael's just snickering. He's like, that's the trash truck, dude. No ice cream. But anyway, so what I was saying, like, everything's really cute, right? Even the trash trucks play songs, and they come around like every day, and everyone goes out, and you go one by one, and you throw your trash in the truck, and everything's really clean. So we found this in the mall. Lance pointed out, he's like, dude, it's your truck. I was like, oh, I have to have this. So if you want to play with it, this is a die-cast model of the trucks in Taiwan. Anyway, so left a lasting impression on me. But yeah, it was good to be in Taiwan. I think I really didn't quite know what to expect when I got there. I expected to have fun with the kids. I expected to, I don't know, just kind of be immersed in getting to know them and getting to know their lives and working with the Taiwan team. But even in the first couple days of preparing and getting the classrooms ready and getting some of our teaching materials ready, I found out very quickly I was ill prepared. I had no idea what was going on, and I really didn't feel like I was contributing, or I didn't feel like, I don't know, I felt weak. Like, you ever have those times where you feel like, man, it's not happening. So I want to read a little bit from my journal. I'm thankful to the Lord that He made me feel this way, actually, because it was just the second day I felt this way, and I had to spend like a morning out on the porch and just reflect a little bit. So I want to read this. After praying a while and reflecting, this is really loud. After praying a while and reflecting, God showed me. So I write, do not be discouraged by your insufficiencies. God's grace is enough for me. His strength is manifested when I am weak. His strength is most evident where my limited strength ends. So take courage and trust in the Lord. Be strong in His grace. The Lord will make sure His name is glorified and not defamed. The Lord is faithful to Himself more than you could ever be, and that's good. That's freeing. But give Him your all. It must be where your strength truly ends, not when you still have more to give. So that really helped me out, because I was just worried I was going to screw up. I was worried that being ill-prepared, I was going to give God a bad name because I didn't know what was going on. But God reminded, just give it your all, and He'll take care of the rest, right? Like Lance was saying, God's in control. He's going to make sure that His name is glorified as long as you give it your all and He can use you. So that carried me through the week. These are some of the kids in my class. We're team number 1, A team, and they were rowdy, guys. They were a handful. Everybody else seemed to have like really cooperative kids. Ours were a riot. But these are the guys. They're adorable, super cute. You can go to the next picture. This is us doing a classroom activity where we're trying to pile things up and do an illustration. Our theme for the week was dealing with emotions. And so I think we were showing an example of how emotions can pile up and those kind of things. So everybody's really into it. Go to the next slide. Like I said, rowdy. Go to the next one. Oh, and so all the kids like biked to the camp, which was really awesome because we could hang out with them. Pastor Michael got to ride one of their bikes, so if you've never seen Pastor Michael on a bike. And again with the kids. So here I want to talk about these kids. They, like Brother Christopher was saying, a lot of them, their parents work all the time. So they're either alone at home or they stay with their grandparents. A lot of these kids actually don't have as much attention as you and I did when we grew up. So they tend to be a little rowdier. They tend to act act out, or they tend to just try to get your attention somehow. And I think, like that. It's okay, Joshua. It's okay.
You're talking about him.
But getting to talk to them and getting to know where they were coming from helps you to connect with them. You start to see some of the things that they're going through, and we were talking about emotions, so we could talk about how do you feel about certain things. There was a girl in my class who had 36 boyfriends. Whoa. She was 13! But it was because they don't have this right concept of relationships, right? Like they don't have role models for that. Or this particular girl, I guess, didn't have a role model for that, so she didn't know. And we had just guys who just didn't seem like they were at their age, or girls looking at like glamour magazines already. They're just trying to find their place. But through talking with them, we had opportunities to say, well, why is that? Or how do you feel about these things? Let's talk about them. Let's share from our experience. We had a couple girls that had a disagreement about something. They had a misunderstanding. One girl thought that these other two girls were writing in their journal like nasty things about her, so she got so mad. And then she stomped away crying. She was crying the whole day. We had no idea how to help her. The next day, she came back with two of her friends. She called her posse. They were, no kidding, they were going to call all their friends, all their guy friends, and they were going to come beat up these girls. And so these girls were see, they're calling their friends. We're going to call our friends too. And I was like, you're in middle school. I never had that. So, man, so you're talking to these two girls did you guys actually write something about her? No, we have no idea what's going on. Did you know they didn't write anything about you? No, I'm just so mad at them. And so it's just these kind of things, right? Again, they don't know how to deal with this. Just like we didn't know how to deal with this when we were growing up, right? But I think it was a good opportunity to say, well, this is how Jesus would deal with this. This is how God would deal with this. And we were actually able to finally get them in the same room and get them talking. It took 30 minutes just to have them say anything. Do you have anything to say? No. Do you have anything to say? No. It took literally 30 minutes. And we were talking, and I was like, can I guess why you're feeling this way? Okay. And then good, get through that way. But that was also a learning point for showing grace, showing mercy, dealing with emotions. I was like, if you guys are just mad at each other and the other people don't know why you're mad, you're just hurting yourself. They don't know why you're mad. Anyways, just kind of rambling. But all these things, they would have frayed my nerves if God hadn't settled me down early in the week and said, hey, my strength is enough for you. So rather than get extremely frustrated, the Lord did his work, and he was able to use our team in the way that he planned. And he was able to open our hearts to learn from these kids. I mean, they are truly adorable. Regardless of how rowdy they are, they taught us about just innocence, I think, and just being kids and finding themselves. So yeah, it was a short week. I think we all really ended up with a love for these kids and a hope that the Lord would really soften their heart and meet them, that hopefully they would remember at some point, hey, there were these foreigners at this camp one time who taught me the love of Christ. So that's the hope, that's what we keep praying for. A few more pictures. This is the Taiwan team that I was working with, and they were awesome. They were full of passion for the Lord, and that's also a really encouraging point that I went away with. This is the full Taiwan team. So, short-term missions, you go and you make somewhat of an impact on the people there, but I think a lot of times short-term you leave gaining more, and the Lord pours into you, and the Lord shows you things that you've never seen before. The Lord grows you in ways and challenges you in ways that you hadn't seen before. I came out of it with this realization that God is strong enough, and I just have to give it my all. I came away getting to work on kind of a sermon or a sharing that I was going to share the last day, but the typhoon came through and canceled that. But it was still a good time to work with Pastor Michael and get my thoughts together and actually prepare a message. So if you guys were here for the Dealing with Emotions message, that was born out of the Taiwan mission trip. And just kind of as a final thought, for those of you who are nervous about going out on missions, or for those of you who are on the edge thinking, I want to go on short-term missions, but I'm not really sure. Something else the Lord showed me that morning, I was thinking about just life, and I was thinking about what's next. And I think this applies to what's next in life, but also to stepping out and going. So if you have the chance, I really challenge you, take the time, go out and see what the Lord is doing in the world around us. If it's short-term, if it's long-term, that's even better. But keep an open mind and be willing to say yes to the Lord. And what's next? You don't always need to know your destination before you go. You can start walking and just take each step as the Lord commands, as each seems right, as each step as it appears right and glorifying to God in the eyes of the Lord. And step by step, the Lord will lead you to the promised destination. But you must seek the Lord, His direction and counsel every step of the way. This is what Abraham did. This is what the Israelites did when they came out of Egypt, when Almighty God brought them out and led them by a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. And so that was God's reminder to me. I hope it can be a reminder to you all as well. Go out. Doesn't matter if you don't know what the next step is. Just take the next step glorifying God, and He will make Himself glorified. Thanks, guys.